verse 7, Revelation 19:7, and it says, "Let us be glad and rejoice and give honor to him, for the marriage of the Lamb is come, and his wife has made herself ready. And to her was granted that she should be arrayed in fine linen, clean and white, for the fine linen is the righteousness of the saints." So when we get to the end of the book, clothing ends up being righteousness. In the beginning of the book, the clothing was for sin. But then we get into Revelation in the end of the book. Fine white linen clothing is the righteousness of the saints. So we have this dichotomy of, Alpha, Omega, beginning and end. Different things happening, things happening in the beginning of the book and similar things happening in the end of the book. Okay, so let's just continue on and from here. Moving on, verse 22. "And the Lord God said, Behold, the man is become as one of us, to know good and evil. And now, lest he put forth his hand, and take also of the tree of life, and eat, and live forever. Therefore the Lord God sent him forth from the Garden of Eden, to till the ground from whence he was taken. So he drove out the man, and he placed at the east of the Garden of Eden cherubims, and a flaming sword which turned every way, to keep the way of the tree of life." And verse 24, notice that it says to keep the way of the tree of life. And this book, and the way that Christ taught us to live, is actually called the way. And we're going to pay attention to that as we move through the book. We see in modern times and these days, you might hear people say, we need a new way. We need a new way. And they're actually talking about getting rid of the Bible and the Most High's way in this new world order they have here. So here in verse 24, there was a flaming sword with this cherubim, which turned every way, to keep the way of the tree of life. I just think that those words there, the way, are very interesting. And again, like I said, we're going to see what the way is. Of course, Christ is called the way, the truth, and the life. So we'll make all these little connections as we continue to go forward. Also, continuing with our theme of Alpha and Omega, beginning and end, because we're in the beginning in the book of Genesis, that is, we see the tree of life in verse 24. So that cherubim with that flaming sword was set there so that Adam and Eve couldn't have access to the tree of life. Well, if we go to the back of the book, keeping with our theme, the beginning and the end, Alpha, Omega, you see the tree of life in the end. So if I take you back to Revelation chapter 22 very quickly, and it reads, we'll start at verse 1, and it says, "And he showed me a pure river of water of life, clear as crystal, proceeding out of the throne of God and of the Lamb. In the midst of the street of it, on either side of the river, was there the tree of life, which bare 12 manner of fruits, and yielded her fruit every month. And the leaves of the tree were for the healing of the nations." So we get to the end. These people who are in this city, New Jerusalem, where the throne of God and of the Lamb is, the tree of life will be there as well. And then at that time, apparently the nations will have access to that fruit. At least this is telling us here that the leaves are for the healing of the nations. So I'm thinking people are going to be able to eat the fruit, perhaps. So, yeah. Tree of life in Genesis. No access in Genesis to the tree of life. Access to Genesis in Revelation. Excuse me. No access. Excuse me. So we don't have access to the tree of life in the book of Genesis due to sin. So we get to Revelation chapter 22. Mankind will have access to the tree of life. So, yeah.